Men's wrestling is returning to Kean University for the first time since 1996, and for the first time ever, the school now has a women's wrestling team. Joining me now is the man who was just hired to coach both teams, Kean graduate Chris DiSanto. Chris, thanks so much for coming on this morning. You must be really looking forward to this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to talking.
Thanks so much. So, Chris, first off, talk to me about your wrestling journey from when you first got interested in the sport up until getting that phone call to be the head coach at Kean University.
Sure. So I started wrestling when I was in second grade. I didn't have such a good year. I don't think I won a single wrestling match. So I gave up. Then I got back into it around seventh grade. Started wrestling seventh and eighth grade. High school, Saddlebrook High School. I wrestled for 4 years there. 3 years at 189 pounds, and then 1 year, my senior year, at 215 pounds. I would say I was an average wrestler for Northern New Jersey at the time. I went to Bergen Community College after high school. I just did 2 years there. Just really tried to be an athlete and focused on studying. And then I transferred to Kean University, and they did not have a wrestling program at the time. But I met a few people who did enjoy wrestling, and we found a place on campus where we could roll around and have some good scraps and some good practicing. I graduated from Kean University in 2005. Then I went right into volunteer coaching for Union City. They were a new program at the time, so I volunteered coached with them along with my high school at the time. And then I just took a few years off. I got a full-time job at Bergen Community College, and I was, blessed to find myself in the hallways when practice was happening. And I started coaching there, volunteer. And one of my mentors, Ed Kojaki, he asked me if I wanted to take over the program. So I started coaching at Bergen Community College. I've been doing that for the last 8 years. And I've just been blessed now to have the opportunity to coach at Kean University and especially to start a women's program. This has been an amazing opportunity.
Fantastic. Now, everyone who's passionate about sports has someone they looked up to as a kid. Who were some of your inspirations growing up?
I have an older brother. Family is important to me. He was my mentor throughout my high school years and into my college years. I volunteered, coached with him in Union City. He started that program back in 2003, I think. And he gave me the opportunity to coach with him. I've had some recreation coaches who I still keep in contact with, who are just been amazing for support. And Ed Kojaki, he was my mentor for my college years. He really just instilled in me that you put the student first, and I just kind of live by that motto.
Now, you'll be coaching the brand new women's wrestling team at Kean University. On top of that, women's wrestling just became an NCAA championship sport. How much of a turning point is this for college sports?
It's a huge turning point. It's gigantic. It gives women the opportunity now to compete at the highest level in wrestling, and it's going to be a big milestone. It's also increased the men's numbers as well. It just puts wrestling out there for on a national level.
Now, is your approach to coaching the men's team going to be any different than coaching the women's team?
My conditioning approach will be the same, but as far as technique, it's two different styles. The teams will be split up; they won't practice together. Just two different styles of wrestling. One's freestyle, which is more the Olympic style, and there's different techniques that you can focus on. And the other style is folk style, which is more collegiate. And yes, my practices will be different from each other. They will train differently.
Now, the first season isn't until the fall, but between now and then, you'll have to put two teams together. Have you started that process yet?
Yes. So thanks to you and many other media outlets, we've been getting great feedback. and that's definitely helped in recruiting. I've been to a couple of high school matches. Recently, I've been in talks to with a couple junior colleges. Yeah, and recruiting's going really well.
It's great to hear. Now, there are so many factors that can make someone a good athlete, whether it's their physical ability or intangibles like leadership. What do you look for when you're recruiting?
I want a learner. I want somebody who's willing to learn. I think that goes with all aspects of wrestling. If you're willing to learn on the wrestling mat, that translates to me. You're willing to learn in the classroom, and you have to be a student first before you can become a student athlete. And I really want somebody who's going to come and really knock it out of the park with the books, and then come into the wrestling room and be a competitor.
Now, are you going to have any assistant coaches? And if so, do you know who's going to be on your staff in the fall?
I gave a list to the administration, and I'm just waiting for their feedback. I do have a few people in mind, but as far as it being a sure thing, I'm just going to wait for the administration and wait for their approval, and we'll go from there.
And athletic director Kelly Williams, who's been so great for your program, has said that you instill a tireless work ethic in your student athletes, both on the mat and in the classroom. How do you teach them to succeed in both athletics and academics?
I find that wrestling is more of a vehicle for life. So in wrestling, you experience losses, just like life. We experience loss. So I try to relate that to a lot of my life to wrestling, and how I can learn from my experiences on the mat and try and relate them to real life experiences.
And Chris, I ask this question to every Kean coach I've ever interviewed. You teach them to be better athletes while they're in their uniforms. How do you teach them to be better people for the real world?
I think wrestling teaches that automatically. Wrestling teaches sportsmanship. Wrestling teaches discipline, consistency, and those are all attributes that you would need for life. That's what wrestling has taught me. I don't think I need to teach that to anyone. I think it's just learned through the sport. And that's where I meant by saying wrestling's like a vehicle for life.
Well, Chris DiSanto, good luck with this endeavor, and thanks so much for taking the time this morning.
No, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to having an outstanding season. Go Cougars!
You bet. Good luck, my friend. Head over to ONNJ.com for the latest news and sports anytime.